In the words of the city manager, he hopes that his budget is not the final budget that we wind up with, and I can assure him that it won't be.
The Columbia has long prided itself on its ability to. It's long been a very disability-friendly town. When my wife and I first moved here back in 1997, her brother worked for Boone County Family Resources, and we got to know a lot of people who were advocates in the disability community back then. Chuck Graham got his start in politics as an advocate in that area, and it's not uncommon here, although it is uncommon in a lot of cities, to see people, driving down the middle of the street in a motorized wheelchair.
Right.
And to see a lot of access and a lot of, the community going the extra mile for people with different disabilities. And I think that's a real measure of pride. I understand we just got named one of the top 10 towns for outdoor recreation in the gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender community in a magazine for that. I think it's called Outdoor or something like that. I'm not sure. But at the same time, I think we could be considered one of the top 10 communities for people with disabilities. And one of the reasons is that we go the extra mile for them, and we need to keep doing that, I think.
Well, and there may be
it's worth it.
And I don't know how this exactly works, because I guess I would be considered a budget rookie. But it seems that there might be some ability for to get about Columbia funding to come into play here on some level.
Well, I wish that were true. They were fighting so hard over that. They've already overspent that money. I mean, it took us a whole extra session to figure out how to spend the remaining $13 million.
But it seems like that could change too.
Well,
and it seems like that might be a thing if we're looking for more handicap accessibility, and if we're looking to be truly a get about Columbia, then
that's a good idea.
There's an application.
Surprised that hasn't been talked.
There is. Certainly there are improvements not only for intersections but also for sidewalks and to some degree in that $22 million budget. Yeah. They really wanted to get something on the ground for the trail issue itself, because there's a soft deadline coming up in 2010 where they have to, it's not a firm deadline, but they have to demonstrate to someone that they actually have had a mode shift in this transportation and there is something on the ground. Right. But intersections are a part of this, and the intersection improvements does benefit the disabilities community in this town. I think that's part of it.
Accessibility, I can't imagine that can't be worked in there. You can work in the promotional budget. We could take $88,000 out of the promotional budget and put it there.
Let me just toss another wrinkle in this, because this is something that I've been trying to get my hands around, and it's kind of twisted logic, but nonetheless, there are people that have contacted me. Most of the people at Paquin obviously are in support of maintaining this program. Right. And there are questions that the city manager raised in terms of the contribution from the Housing Authority. But I don't know I don't know exactly how that works, and I need to talk to Phil Steinhaus about it as we get into these discussions. But there is also a contingent of people in Paquin who have talked to me about the fact that what we really ought to do is preserve the recreational programs. That is, I guess there's a clay program, and there's some other artistic programs that are part of this mix, and get rid of the office, and even perhaps shift from Parks and Rec to maybe social services or something, but get rid of the office of folks that are there that are not really providing the services that they're supposed to provide. So there are these two competing groups even within Paquin that are saying, yes, let's preserve the programs. No, these people are just taking advantage of the position that they have. I don't know whether that's true or not. It may be. There may be some room for a compromise here. I don't know. That one has to be fleshed out.
I don't have enough information to even go there.
Yeah. But I do think it's worthwhile to take a look at the big picture of this and compare this $100,000 or $88,000, whatever it is, in comparison to some of the other big expenses that we're talking, not the least of which recently at the retreat we talked about this as well, and that is, and I think it's vital that the city get into the business about economic development with shovel-ready sites.
Right.
And they've identified a $2 million block of money out of Water and Light Reserve Fund in order to fund that. Now, I think that's a good idea, but that's a chunk of money. I mean, $2 million is a lot of money.
The flip answer, Carl, and this, you will hear this, I am sure, is that each time we need some more money, we'll just take one story off that new parking garage, and we'll fund it with that, and pretty soon the parking garage will be gone. Nobody will think we're competing with businesses downtown, and we'll have
I guess the only problem with that, you know, and that occurred to me as well, but the whole problem with that is you need the 650 parking places to pay for the parking garage, because that's really what's paying for it. Nonetheless. Well, all right, well, now that we've solved that problem as well, let me just get down to the end here. I know we're getting a little bit close on time.